Chelsea slip up against Crystal Palace and Tottenham take full advantage of that. And now they are 7 points behind with 10 games remaining. Is it unlikely that they will find their way back? I would say so. But is it something that we haven't seen before? No, we've seen it before. It's happened. There was one time that there's two examples I wanted to bring back up. The closest ever, I think, Premier League finish, and one of the most memorable in my memory anyway, is Manchester City. They were 8 points behind with merely 6 games remaining. That was when Manchester United
collapsed.
It wasn't as much their collapse. It was just an unprecedented demise. A couple of draws, and then of course a last-minute goal from Sergio Aguero was the most memorable way that fell up. A collapse, however, was Liverpool, who were 5 points ahead.
Just the Suarez year?
Yes, this was a Suarez year. When the Steven Gerrard slip that just caused the season to fall away, and that was where Manchester City made their way back up to that to win that title. So it's not like it's unlikely. This Chelsea team, however, I was surprised by their slip up against Crystal Palace. Benteke looked very good. This is a Benteke. We know he's got talent. We know he can do this. It's just his consistency that's a problem. But throughout the Premier League this weekend, there was plenty of chances for other teams to take advantage. You get an Arsenal and Manchester City draw, 2-2, eventful game. I thought Manchester City were the better team, but they failed to take advantage of it. And Tottenham Hotspur proven again that even amidst the conversation, they're still not given as much respect. They're the team that takes advantage of Chelsea slipping up and are going to be I would say, the last remaining team to chase the pack, Jason Rubin. So let's look at the table and we'll see who is going to be the closest to them. All right, so there you have it. Both teams, Chelsea and Tottenham, have a game in hand over Liverpool, who are sitting in third position. Manchester City have a game in hand. Manchester United, different story again. Other teams had tough tasks this weekend, and by that I mean Man City and Arsenal playing each other. Manchester United playing against the West Brom team, who deserve a lot of credit. They've had a great season so far. But Manchester United could not break the deadlock, and they were held to a draw, which Jose Mourinho was not happy about when asked this question. We'll throw to his press conference really quick to kind of set the tone, I think, of just the frustration that Manchester United are facing at the moment.
Jose, we saw you smiling with Tony Pulis at the end. Did you cancel each other out today?
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean by that?
Two teams very evenly balanced today?
You think so?
Well, I'm asking you.
You think so, really? You think that's a question?
No, I'm asking because you were smiling with him at the end. Was it an acknowledgement that you'd balanced each other out?
Because he's my friend. No, I was not speaking about the game. Do you think the game was like that?
I was asking because you were smiling with him.
I can smile if I lose, if I win, if I draw. There's nothing to do. You are asking a question about the game. Do you think the game was like you are saying?
No, that's not what I said. I didn't say what I think. I'm asking you what you think. I'm sorry. That's just what I'm asking.
I'm sorry to say, but it's a silly question.
Okay.
When a team crosses the midfield line once in 90 minutes and the other team is for 90 minutes with the ball in the opponent half trying, you are telling me that one team cancelled the other one and each other? We didn't have to defend. We didn't defend. We had the ball all the time, and David De Gea was sleeping, and because he was sleeping, he made that funny thing. I was laughing with that funny thing because it's the only way to react to that.
It was a weekend of press conferences, Francis. First of all, you lose your voice?
Yes, I did. There was too much singing.
Do you have a rough weekend?
I've got a raspy voice.
Could you just check his Snapchat story?
Yeah, I was just singing too much Oasis. My Uber driver was a huge Oasis fan, and that's one of the rarest things I've found in America. You know how much I love Oasis. I say Wonderwall's the best written song of all time. So that's my favourite song ever. And when I step into an Uber, and the driver is just blaring Champagne Supernova. What are you expecting is going to happen? I'm not going to sit there and just twiddle my thumbs. I'm going to belt out the chorus at every single chance possible. And it's resulted in this. So obviously I don't care about my job because I'm just singing it out there trying to land a job as an Oasis tribute act.
I have no comment. I like Oasis, but I don't sing Champagne Supernova. I do know all the words to every Oasis song ever played on the radio, all 2 of them.
Wonderwall and Supernova?
Yeah. I think that's the only 2 songs I've ever written.
Yeah. Not true.
No, not true.
But it's a good segue, by the way, because you know what team Oasis support? You're about to throw to the press conference.
Manchester City.
Yep, huge City fans.
2 of their 7 fans.
Huge City fans.
Yeah, they don't like each other, though.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
The Gallaghers, right?
Yeah.
The brother, well, there's Pep's press conference, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to bring this up. Was it a penalty? Was it not a penalty? At the end of this game. And throughout this press conference, he gave a lot of credit to Montreal for his defense against Alexis as one of the best players in the world, which is objectively true, I believe. However, it's been a consistent theme all season long that their defense has been in shambles, and they can score at will, yet they can also concede at will. Yeah. Hence why Monaco just knocked them out of the Champions League not long ago, because they can win 5-3, but that's not going to bode well for you going into your second legs. But this is about just 25 seconds of it in regards to that penalty.
So I did, but I know what Montreal said, what Jesus said, so I trust a lot with Jesus. I want to congratulate his performance like a fullback. It was outstanding how he played against Alexis, one of the best players in the world, how he good in defensive and offensive. And the action, the referee knows my opinion. The same opinion was the same referee at Tottenham, so I know my opinion about that. But always I say to them, not in public way.
I love that. The same referee at Tottenham.
I think if you transcribe that.
I wish. Can you imagine Pep doing that voice in an interview for a job? I'm going to come in here and we're going to...
They would probably give him the job, that. He's clearly knows what he's talking about, because I don't understand what he's saying.
But I don't leave it at just that, because I do also want to throw into the rapture that, what do you call it? Come on, David Moyes came under this past weekend.
Because of his comment towards a...
BBC reporter, I believe?
A BBC reporter where he stated, you're getting a little cheat in his... It makes it worse, because Scottish people are just automatically sound aggressive when we talk. I think that's just one of the things. And he goes, you're going to get a wee cheeky slap. It's like, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you won't get a slap.
You're just getting a wee bit naughty at the end there, so just watch yourself. You might get you still might get a slap even though you're a woman.
He's an old-fashioned. I'm sure Alex Ferguson said a lot of things of the similar stature to that. I just think that in this day and age, if you're going to make the comment, and it doesn't need to be because she's a woman. If you're just going to be cheeky chappy and play along with it, then whatever. But I just feel like he needs to be a little bit more choice with his words, but I don't think it's anywhere near as blown out as what it should be.
No, right. He did apologize for it immediately, and according to Moyes and according to the reporter, apology was accepted. Granted, he then just threw out, what is it called, like diarrhea of the mouth? When you just keep talking, and it's just one of those things to just kind of, stop at the apology. Stop at... There was an apology accepted. Don't keep going, because when he kept going, he started saying, I've been the most supportive of women in football positions. I was supportive of my daughter at 19 when she was playing for Preston. I was supportive of women in this role and supportive. We get it, man. Just stop at the apology.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need to say. We can move on. Don't just keep going at how supportive you are to try to make it seem better.
Yeah. Like, that's... You sound like you're echoing Mr. Trump. It's like, no one's got more support for women. I love women. Women love me. I love it, love it, love it. Positive, 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 positive.
I think you're thinking I'm the least anti-Semitic person.
Yeah, and then you get all the examples thrown at you. So the reason this is probably, if this hadn't happened post Andy Gray, Richard Keys making their comment towards a female linesman, I know that was a few years back, but that was the example. And you cannot overstep. Like there is absolutely a place for women in men's football, especially with officiating, reporting, of course. It's not a man's job to simply ask about football. It's something that in the United Kingdom I've actually felt we could emulate the way the US approaches actual soccer here. We could learn a lesson from Americans about soccer, the way they promote female inclusion in the sport from the get-go. We don't play, women's football is not like, we don't play it in high school. Like the girls don't get to play football as much. And then in college, of course, our college system is not the same. But it's very rare. Like, and a girl who's automatically looked at as wanting to be a football player is often looked at as a tomboy or too much of a man or anything else. And I think that
there's similar stereotypes in American sports.
Look how positive it is when girls are promoted to play soccer from an early age.
Because the women's U.S. national team is
very good,
so much better,
yeah,
or at least more successful in the terms of how far they've gotten. Vicki Sparks was her name.
Yeah. So that's
not to be rude and not
no,
my actual name.
So when you look at the full context of it, I think it does play into that idea that is like women are often treated in this role as if they can't handle that environment. Oh, you're a woman, but you might still get yourself a slap, right? One, you can't ever say that you're going to slap a woman, right? But two, it's like the idea that you can't be involved in this situation, and just because you're a woman, you might get the treatment I would give to a man.
But by the way, you can't slap a male reporter.
Yeah,
either. You can't threaten a reporter. You're not supposed. And by the way, reporters are, figuratively speaking, most head coaches, managers want to slap every reporter they have to speak to.
Yeah.
Granted, sometimes they probe questions that they're not supposed to. In this case, it just wasn't. It was a standard question. There was nothing out of the ordinary about it. It wasn't like the reporter was going after Moyes' family. She did mention that, did he feel like there was some extra pressure given Sunderland's owner was in the building? Fair question.
Yeah. So,
which, I mean, Sunderland relegation, were they on the table on the bottom?
Yeah, of course.
So
they've never moved from there.
They never went up. There's some pressure, obviously, on David Moyes and Sunderland to not get relegated. I can't imagine what that must be like, though. You have, what, 6-7 matches roughly remaining?
Yeah.
Or about 8 matches remaining in the season, and you are 16, 17, 18, or 19 on the table.
Yeah, it's...
I think there's more pressure to not be relegated than there is to win a title.
Well, it's
because you know you're getting fired.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's going to happen. Especially if you're David Moyes, it comes hand in hand with his career. So who knows what's going to happen with it? He's
very harsh on a native Scotsman.
He's not a very good man. I thought he was a good manager at Everton, but I mean, he obviously didn't have the best time at United, and now his apology, as I mentioned, has been put around. But a lot of people, specifically on Twitter, Gary Lineker, one of the most prominent and outspoken pundits out there, saying that it was inexcusable. So I agree with that. But to go back to the Premier League, really quick to round off this clip, it's going to come down to a very tight run-in, and Tottenham have the advantage of not as much of a hard run-in, specifically in the next few games. Chelsea play Manchester City
Wednesday.
Then they play, I believe, someone in between, and then they have Manchester United the following week. They don't play Tottenham. Tottenham have played Chelsea already twice this season, so they don't get the chance to actually play them to try and make up that deficit. But Chelsea have a tough task ahead of them, and it's going to make for an exciting Premier League conclusion. So I would, for a neutral standpoint, I'd like to see Tottenham close the gap and make it an exciting finish. No one wants to see the Premier League wrapped up with, 10 games remaining,
unless Leicester's winning it.
Unless it's Glasgow Celtic.
Well, that's a clip for another day, Francis, because maybe, just maybe, Glasgow and Rangers go to the Premier League.
Forever I want it and I ain't giving it up.